Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Student Leadership Showcase. This panel will showcase how you can leverage your ASME leadership experiences and the skills you obtain through volunteering in your job hunt or in your future career. So we have with us three amazing panelists. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Nicole Salum. I am leading the expansion strategy for the Student Leader Training Committee. So we work on developing new training and new workshops to develop your professional skills and your personal skills. I will be your moderator along with Omar. Omar, feel free to introduce yourselves and then we'll go into the panelists.
Hello, everyone. My name is Omar Kher. I'm the Business Intelligence Manager for EPCOM. I'm based out of El Paso, Texas. I do many things within ASME, part of which I'm part of the Student Leadership Training Conference team. I focus on the content. I lead the content for our annual conference that happens around the IMECI period. It happened last week. I'm so excited to be here today to hear more from some of the students who actually attended SLTC over the past few years and hear from them about how it affected their careers and how it helped them advance their leadership skills. So let's first start getting to know our panelists. Our first panelist is Brianna. Brianna, could you please tell us more about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Brianna Migliaccio, and I started my involvement with ASME my first year of college. And then during my third year of college, I became the president for our ASME chapter and created the first EFX event in the United States with my fellow ASME students at NYU. And then I graduated from NYU with my Bachelor's of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and now I'm working as a consultant for Accenture.
Thank you, Brianna. Our next panelist is Maya.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maya Rislan. So I started my journey with ASME during my second year of college. I was part of the committee, so we were doing a lot of events, Euro trips, or career days and stuff like that. And that's when I got hooked. ASME made me realize that there's a lot of different paths in mechanical engineering. And I did a lot of internships back then, and then decided to move to Germany to do my master's. When I moved to Germany, I realized there isn't any ASME in Europe, so I wanted to do something about that, and that's when I realized there's SLTC. That was back in 2017. So I joined SLTC as a student, and during that conference, there was a talk about Eclipse, and I was really interested to join and to move forward with ASME. So the year after, I joined Eclipse, and ever since then, I never stopped being involved with ASME. And funny story, I actually met my boss in Eclipse, and right now I'm in USA, like working in the US because of my network in ASME. And he actually also met his boss at an ASME conference. So yeah. And now I'm part of the Career Advancement Center team with Omar.
Thank you, Maya. That's exciting. I just wanted to say that it's mostly a Q&A session. We want to hear your questions. Maya, Brianna, and Vineet will be answering all of the questions that you'd be sending us. Please feel free to send them through the Q&A portion of the video. At the bottom of the video, you could see Q&A, and that's where you could type in your questions, and we will make sure to address them as soon as possible. Our third panelist for the day is Vineet. Vineet, could you please tell us more about yourself?
Thank you, Omar. So, good morning and good evening to all. I'm Vineet Vasi, currently working as Data Analytics and Programs Intern at ASME India office. Here to share about my association with ASME. I got involved with ASME when I volunteered for the gas turbine conference hosted by ASME VID Fluent section in my freshman year. Thereafter, I started by volunteering in marketing and outreach activities at my ASME Student Chapter. I did door-to-door campaigning and reached out to more than 3,000 VIT students, making them aware about ASME and its various initiatives for students and for early career engineers. Seeing my dedication and commitment towards the chapter activity, I was given a chance to lead student-led design competition, which was a national event hosted by my student chapter. My volunteering continued for MECNOVIT, which is an annual technical symposium hosted by ASME VIT, where I conceptualized and executed many marketing and outreach plans, which helped in increasing our participation by threefold and also generating the sponsorship. Then I served for 2 years as a core committee member of ASME VIT student section, where I worked in different areas such as marketing, finance, outreach, and sales. In my junior year, I was appointed to the position of marketing head of ASME VIT student section. There, I started playing with past attendee data available to me at the time and Facebook page insights. I again developed marketing plans, but this time backed by some data research, and that resulted into highly positive results. At that time, I realized that if data gets utilized effectively, it escalates the outcome. This triggered me to get more interested towards the data analysis. In 2018, I got appointed as the student regional chair for the Southeast Asia region by the ASME Student Section Enterprise Committee in October. The same year, VIT was also selected for the host of EFES Asia Pacific 2019, and I led that as a student lead organizer. I was reaping the fruits of all the hard work and dedication that I placed in for my student section by all these recognitions. For maximizing the participation number, I utilized the student data available to me for running the EFES Asia Pacific Campus Ambassador Program. Campus Ambassador Program has been very impactful when it comes to attracting new participation for the EFES Asia Pacific. The efficient use of data analysis works, and we got the highest number of attendees ever participated in EFES Asia Pacific. With this positive result, I gained confidence in the field of data analytics. Then I was selected to be funded by ASME to attend the 2019 Student Leadership Training Conference in Salt Lake City. This opportunity turned out to be golden for me as I learned more about teamwork, resilience, and most importantly, my communication and networking skills. Being an introvert person, attending SLTC meetings, student leaders, and hearing great minds elevated my confidence. It was a life-changing experience. I thank SLT team for this great opportunity. Thank you, Omar, Brandon, and Nicole for this. In my senior year, I volunteered as an advisor for the EFES Asia Pacific 2020 that was held at Marwadi University, which has witnessed the highest number of attendees ever in any ASME EFES. Here, I again supported the Campus Ambassador Program with my data analytics skills. All the ASME journey of mine provided me with the opportunities that hone my personality personally and professionally, that helped me in getting employed in the field of my interest at this rough time of COVID pandemic. The major thing that kept me engaged with ASME is the warmth with my peer volunteers and all the learnings that I received from ASME staff and senior volunteers. Thank you guys for having me here. I'm ready for the questions.
Thank you, Vineet. It's a great experience. Thank you. We have one first question by Sebastian Londoño. So I would like to know how we senior engineer students can connect through ASME into the professional field. So I think maybe now for this one, Maya, you can talk a bit about Eclipse. What is Eclipse? How did you join? And what is the purpose of it? Like how is it work? Well, how does it work?
So yeah, I joined Eclipse like 2 years ago. There's actually the application process is open now, and I think the deadline is in January. So if you're interested in being more involved in ASME, it's a great opportunity to do so. Basically, Eclipse is like an internship where you take part of a certain committee, and there's a lot of different committees you can be part of depending on your interest or the availability. And you also have a team where you work together on something like a problem with ASME, for example, me and my team, we worked on something related to career engagement. I mean, early careers engagement. And yeah, I don't know if I was clear enough. Let me know.
Brianna, would you like to add anything to about how can a senior engineering student be connected through ASME in the engineering field?
Yeah, definitely. So my path with ASME was a little different than Maya's. So I kind of joined with my student section, and with the different ASME sections, there's also professional sections. So when I was at NYU, I was in the New York Metro section, and there's also a New York City professional section, and they have different events that happen. So back then they were dinners and in person. I'm not sure how it's happening right now, but definitely try to connect with your professional section as well, because they'll be able to give you a lot of insight onto what their career is like and the path that they took to be able to get to their current position that they have in the professional fields. And just try to reach out through that network. I know that you can LinkedIn, like people that you know, anyone that's involved in the ASME community, I found has been very helpful and always happy to help a fellow ASME member. So if you reach out and let them know you're involved, I'm sure you'll get a great response.
Indeed, I can say that ASME always at some point becomes like our second family. And you can always connect with someone and make good connections and good friendships, and I think that's what makes our experience great. Vinny, would you like to add anything about how can a senior engineering student be connected with ASME?
So I think what is the most important is your networking skills. And what I observed or I felt with ASME is everyone is so eager to help you out whenever you ask something, like to guide you, and everyone is happy to guide you for all the things. Like I was also asked many senior volunteers and the ASME staff members, and they definitely helped me very much with my career planning and what I need to, what software or what skills I need to achieve for reaching that goal. So yeah, I think the ASM is very much helpful in the professional careers as well.
Thank you, Vinny. I just wanted to remind everyone that we are taking questions. It's an open Q&A session. If you have any questions, please feel free to send them to us through the Q&A icon that you see at the bottom of the video, and we will make sure to answer them.
I would also like to add one thing about the first question that you guys answered. If you don't have a professional senior section in your wherever you live, you can just reach out to ASME staff or reach out to us via the student leader training, and we'll put you in contact with the right person to start your own professional section. You'll have the guidance, you'll have the help needed to have your own professional section. And it's worth noted that now it's easier because there's no much effort to do something that is physical, and you can just have a virtual event, a virtual meetup where you can use the networking or the network within ASME to advance in your career. With this, we have a second question. From your personal experience, which skills are suitable these days for looking professional experience abroad? So I think maybe Brianna, you can start. What do you think are the skills needed or suitable for a professional experience abroad? I mean, abroad or where, I don't know if did you move to work at Accenture, or you're still where you were located?
Yeah, I haven't really been abroad. I went from New York to Philly. That was a little small transition.
To our bus.
But yeah, but I mean, you can still use the same skills. So I would say that, in my opinion, it's as like we're all mechanical engineers. We all have a very strong technical background. So if you really want to make yourself stick out, the best thing you can do is focus on your soft skills. I know that when I was interviewing, the biggest talking point I had in all of my interviews was the leadership experience I had, the public speaking skills that I had, just being able to work in teams and build that like bond and communication in that network, and just being able to work off of different people and show that you're able to do that. I've really seen like it's been very receptive in interviews that I've had. So I would say like I gained the most through my involvement with ASME. So really taking everything that you can to want to be involved in your student section and want to be involved in different events just like this one that's happening today that ASME has to offer, where you can meet that network and you can gain some leadership skills and kind of create different events. I know I made the EFX at NYU, and that was a really great experience that I had for giving those skill sets needed in the professional world. So I would definitely recommend, if anyone is at a student section right now and needs to create an event and something to keep them busy. Yeah.
Maya and Vinny.
Yeah, I think, yeah, go ahead, Maya.
No, it's okay. You can say.
I think the most important thing is the networking skills. Plus, I think what companies are looking for is what new you can offer to the organization. Because I was from the mechanical background and I'm coming from completely different data analytics and management things. So I really need to show what new things which I can show them and I can do in a different way to the organization, which helps them grow very well. So the main thing that which field you are going to you are going ahead, and you need to have a broad background from those data analytics. If you are going for data analytics, then you have to have the knowledge about the software that is going to be used and how you you must be good in the statistics also, and how you can perform all the things and get better for the organization. So yeah.
Yeah, and I would also add that the language skill is very important, even though it might look very obvious. But when I lived in Germany, I had a really hard time finding a job because I was not fluent in the language. So if you're planning on moving somewhere where you're not very fluent with the language, it's a good time to invest in becoming fluent. Also, most companies really appreciate extracurricular activities and the work you do with ASME or any other organization. So it's always a plus in terms of communication skills, networking, and many others.
Okay. Just a reminder to everyone who's watching us, if you have any questions, please feel free to send them through the Q&A portion of the video, and we will address them as soon as possible. I have a question for you. If we had only, other than networking skills, because I think everyone already mentioned how networking is important within ASME, and ASME's very large network of very smart engineers that could be helpful to find a job. Taking networking aside, what other skill do you think was very critical to find the next job that you found, or for anyone who could be looking for a job? What's the main critical skill that you can get through your ASME experience?
I think one of the key things that I learned was time management, because juggling with ASME work and either an actual job or during my bachelor studies, it was a lot of things to do. So time management was definitely something I was not good at, and it's slowly becoming better with the amount of tasks I have. So yeah.
Having a lot of ASME tasks has been helpful too.
No, not helpful, but I learned how to manage my time better. Definitely not helpful.
That's great. Um, Brianna and Vinny, what's the main leadership skill that you acquired other than uh, networking that helped you get your next job or your current job?
I think other than time management and networking, the main thing is the pressure handling skill at tough situations. Like you have to be very calm and making the decisions to be right for if you are hosting an event or something, or if you are running an organization, you have to be calm in every decision. Plus, you have to be accurate and getting to know what that decision might impact in the future. So everything you need to consider when you take any decision in any field.
Thank you, Vinny. Brianna?
Yeah, I can add on to that. I would say listening is a good skill that I've learned. Taking on a lot of leadership positions in general, you work with a giant group of all different people in front of you that all want different things. They have different backgrounds, and they are all trying to work together to come to one goal. So when you're leading for, if it's an event for ASME and trying to put that together, or if it's working on a project for ASME or anything in general where you're trying to lead something, you do have to learn to listen to everybody and be able to work with different perspectives, and being able to just put all those different perspectives aside and be very unbiased to come to a good cohesive goal. And it's definitely been something that I've learned when I've been interviewing and also been working in different jobs. Um, it's a good thing to show that you're a good listener and that you are willing to learn and work with any person that's put in front of you, and that you have the experience doing so.
Absolutely. I think that's a very critical thing to have these days, is to be able to manage working with a very diverse group, and that's something we do always, all the time within ASME. I think every committee anyone could be involved in would have people from the West Coast all the way to India and Asia, and even though we're all mechanical engineers, and not necessarily just mechanical engineers, because ASME is not just limited to mechanical engineering. We welcome everyone from the STEM majors, but learning to listen to different thoughts and many different ideas is very helpful. And we're obviously all working towards the same goal, so that's something very important for whether job or in life in general.
Definitely, definitely. This is amazing. Thank you, guys. And I have one question. What challenge did you face through ASME or through this transition from student to your first job? And what helped you overcome this challenge? Let's start with Brianna.
Yeah, so I'm pretty new at my first job. I am a recent grad from May. I graduated school, so I'm still in the transition period. But I would say that when you start your first full-time job, it's a lot different than internships because you're not really being guided. It's really, you're just thrown into a group. There's 200 other people starting the same date as you, and you're all just in this kind of figuring it out period, and there's no one really to hold your hand and show you what to do. um, you just have to dive in and take all the opportunities you can, and try to learn as much as you can as quick as you can, because it's a big learning curve going from being a student and kind of having a set schedule, knowing when exams are, listening to your professor, taking notes, to just being thrown into a job and expecting to do things. So with ASME, I think I've learned a lot of how to think on my feet and how to learn things for myself when I'm putting together an event or giving a presentation or um, going to some like ASME event in a new school where I'm in an environment that I don't know. It's definitely kind of helped me prepare for that because I know how to take on unknown experiences, I guess I could say. But definitely transitioning from being an intern to being in a full-time position, it's been a lot of just figuring things out on your own and trying to figure out your path and not really having much guidance as I'm used to having in college. Yeah.
That's awesome. And thank you for mentioning this, because this transition, this is what we usually don't see until we get there. So it's really important for students to know what to expect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Beneath, can you add on that? Maybe a
For
challenge?
me, it was not very difficult for me as I was in ASME volunteer, and then I am not right now working as in ASME only. But the main thing is when you are a volunteer, if you are late in something, then you won't be blamed or someone would not shout at you. But when you are working for an organization, you have to manage your time and uh, get your deadlines very accurately and fulfill your all the things that you have done and what you have assigned. So that is the main thing that I can say.
All right, this is great. Thank you. Maya?
I don't have much to add. I kind of felt the same thing, but the only thing I can say is like moving from, because I worked in industry before and then I'm in research now, so that was also a huge transition, and I didn't really um, prepare myself for like the differences or the type of work or anything. So that was a challenge, but yeah, I mean, from the work I do, it's eventually it became like it became better.
Okay, okay.
These days is something that's not very smooth with a small economic recession and a lot of things changing and a lot of the types of jobs that are changing in a digital world. That's something that's really challenging these days, and it might not apply exactly to our experiences, but hopefully the SME is here to help you navigate through that, and we're here as a large community to help you. And ASME has been doing a lot of big and great initiatives to address that. Following on that, I'd like to ask a question to our panelists. What advice do you give to the students to make the most out of their ASME digital experience now that everything is moving virtual and for the foreseen future? Who would like to give an advice or some tips to the students on how to make
Yeah.
most out of their experience, ASME experience?
You mean how they should use the digital world now in
Yeah.
terms of ASME? Yeah, I think now it's a great time to take part in all the conferences, because usually with traveling and going to the conferences abroad, it might be complicated at times. So it's a great time to join all the conferences and the talks and be involved, because also everyone is available online more than usual. So people are responding more to emails um, or having more time to have a video chat or something along these lines.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I would say that there's definitely downsides of not being able to see people face to face at the moment. But with that comes some upsides of a lot of people are home and they're online and they have that time available that they didn't before. where it's time that people would spend usually commuting, they have time to pick up a call. So I found that with my personal experiences, just trying to message people and create different connections, create different like video calls between different groups of people, it's been a lot easier to put together now that everyone's home, and really take this opportunity to get as much advice as you can, be involved in as many conferences. Like I personally have never gone to an eFest, and that was because I wasn't able to travel during the times that they were, because that was always when I had midterms. So now that you have this opportunity where you can attend one online virtually and still be on your campus studying is amazing. So just try to take up everything that you can that's being presented to you at the moment.
And I think this pandemic come as a blessing in disguise, because these all the events of the ASMEs come on virtual, like eFest Careers, the eFest Digital we host, the FLTC we host. So right now, the students can get engaged with any ASME event virtually and get engaged with the ASME staff member or the senior volunteer. If someone doesn't have any ASME student section, then they can also get participated and get in touch with the ASME people, so they can also establish the ASME student section in their institute and get more engaged with ASME. So yeah, this might be very helpful for the countries which ASME does not have its establishment, or the area or the region which ASME student section, there is no ASME student section in any institute.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vineet. Just another reminder again for the attendees. You can post your questions in the Q&A part, not in the chat, because the chat doesn't come to us. So in the Q&A part, post your questions, and this is an open Q&A with our panelists.
If any one of you has any questions, please address them to us, and we will be doing our best to address them to our panelists. I have a question. What's a difficulty that you faced within your ASME experience that maybe could have helped you later on, maybe that you learned a lesson from at some point in your life? What was the main difficulty that you faced throughout your ASME experience?
I can answer that. I would say balance was really difficult for me. Like I wanted to go to school full time. I had a part-time job, and also was involved in clubs and trying to be like very active at my university. But I loved ASME, and I wanted to kind of take part in everything that it had to offer. So there was a point when, I was just all over the place, just running from this to that, and didn't really put the time in that I needed to for ASME or for my studies, or just kind of couldn't balance things. So it really made me take a step back and learn how to use my Google Calendar, learn how to schedule every day, make my to-do list, plan out my planner. And that's just something you don't really lose. Once you build that skill, you can take that with you everywhere. So once you go into your full-time job and you want to work on personal projects, and you want to be involved in other things outside of the office, it's very easy now for you to say, like, I did this before, I can do it again. Like, I know how to plan, I know how to schedule, I know how to balance, and like, it'll stick with you. So, yeah.
Thank you, Brianna. Maya, Vinny, do you have any difficulties that you faced during your experience within ASME or involvement within ASME that helped you learn something later on?
I think the time management was the main, because at the time I was running like 3 different positions. One is the student regional chair that I was working. Other thing was the EFES which I was leading, and the other thing was also I have to work for the student section activities in my campus also, because there are more than 100 clubs and chapters in my institute. So we have to be competitive with each and every clubs and chapter uh, in our institute also. So there was a time that I was only sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a day, and yeah, the time management was the main difficult thing, and which I also learned from different things. And also the and I was not very tired of it, because I was just, this is the thing that I was most interested in working with ASME. So yeah, the time management was the most difficult part. Other than I didn't have any difficulty.
Maya, is there any specific difficulty other than the time?
Oh, they actually talked about what I wanted to say.
The time management issues that you were facing before, and ASME helped you.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yes, being involved in too many committees at the same time and having a lot of tasks to do on top of your regular daytime job could be challenging sometimes, and that's why
Yeah.
ASME volunteers and active volunteers usually stand out, because on top of working at least 40 hours a week, if not more, at their actual job, they would be working maybe 10 or more doing ASME volunteer work. And they're just usually doing it out of loving ASME, loving to contribute to the society and to the mission. Um, and I have one more question. And if we don't receive any others after that, we are almost running out of time, so we can address that in a few minutes. So we have 2 women panelists here, and three women engineers, including you, Nicole, on this panel. We know that mechanical engineering is usually like very male heavy, and there's usually like, in the best cases, 10 to 20% of women engineers within the society. How was that reflected when searching for a job? Did you feel that you faced challenges just because of being a woman in the field, or and what advice would you give to other women engineers that are listening right now?
Um, Actually, I think it really depends on the place, the country. I faced that problem in Germany. I got rejected for a job because I was a woman, and they actually told me that upfront. But it's because it was in a it was in a village in Germany, so people are not very open. So yeah, I think I found it really weird that up until today, people are still thinking that way, especially in Europe. Um, but I do see a development in that. Like, uh, for example, in my master's studies, when I first started, it was just me and another girl. But now there's like 20 girls applying each, and it's increasing each year. So people are starting to get more open to the idea. And but when it comes to jobs, I'm really like it really depends on the place.
Brianna?
Yeah, I agree. I would say that at when I was studying at NYU, I had a very solid group of girlfriends that I would just take all my classes with, I studied with. So I wasn't really aware. And then I applied for my first internship, and I was the first female that the company hired. So I remember walking into the office the first day with just all men everywhere, and I went to sit down at my desk and I was like, wow, this is weird, like I wasn't expecting it. So it's definitely takes a lot of confidence, encouraged to just like be able to speak up when you're the youngest and you're also a female, like sitting in a room full of just experienced older male engineers. So it's just really being able to keep your confidence and knowing like you've done this, you took the classes, like you're very educated, and just being able to stick to that.
Just out of curiosity, is this, would it be one of the reasons why you chose consulting over engineering? Or
Oh, partly, I would say that I know that when I was looking at jobs and I was applying to different ones, when I went to the Accenture's like info session, there was a lot of, you know, very happy and helpful women like around who were also engineers that wanted to go the same path. And it just felt more comforting to me, I guess I would say. So yeah, it did have an effect, I could say.
I can say it's very frustrating to hear that. I personally know there's always a lot of discrimination, but knowing that someone gets rejected just because you're a woman or whatever other reason, that's something that's really frustrating, because really that's not part of the qualifications for the job. And whenever someone has the qualifications, I don't see a reason why they should not get the job other than for just purely qualification reasons. Thank you so much for addressing that point. I think that's very important. Nicole, do we have any more questions?
no, I don't think so.
Okay, with that, I think we are almost running out of time. I'd like to thank our panelists, Maya, Brianna, Vinny, and Nicole for moderating this with me. Thank you so much for joining this very active and interactive discussion. If you'd like to add anything before we wrap up, you're welcome to. Any last words to the students?
I just want to say thank you for having me. I enjoyed being able to speak today. And for anyone that comes up with a question like later on that they just didn't ask or pops up later, just feel free to message me on LinkedIn, and I'm always here to help with whatever. ASME has been a great network for me, so I would love to give back and be a network for any other students. So just feel free. I'm always here to answer whatever questions.
Thank you for that.
Thank you so much. If you have any other further questions, just like Brianna said, feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn or social media or through emails. And this chat, I believe, would still be accessible throughout the day, the chat that you can see next to the video, on the right of the video. Thank you so much for joining this session, and hope you'll be enjoying the rest of your eFest.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks a lot.